Welcome everyone to my channel. If you've been here before, you know the drill. Pull up a seat, sit down. We're going to talk. Okay? If you haven't been here before, we're going to talk. We're going to talk about Shadow and Bone by Lee Bardugo. In the Grishaverse. This is actually the first 3 in the book. I know I read Six of Crows first, but we're not reading Shadow and Bone. If I like it, we'll move on to the next one, which is Siege and Storm. So, I'm hoping I like it. I mean, I'm liking it so far, I guess, because I've tagged a few of it. But, and I'm 134 pages in. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to give it to about halfway mark, and then if I really like it, we'll continue. Also, you're going to see a clip in a little bit after this of me reading it because I need to read it today. I haven't yet. I also need to double read it, so, I am behind in my reading. The sad thing is, that means I'll be, over halfway. So, when I next talk to you after I've finished double reading today, I will have a better idea whether or not I like it and whether I'm going to buy Siege and Storm. So, the Grishaverse. Soldier, Summoner, Saint. Orphan and expendable Alina Starkov is a soldier who knows she may not survive her first trek across the Shadow Fold, a swath of unnatural darkness crawling with monsters. But when her regiment is attacked, Alina unleashes dormant magic that even she knew she possessed. Now Alina has entered a lavish world of royalty and intrigue as she trains with the Grisha, her country's magical military elite, and falls under the spell of their notorious leader, the Darkling. He believes Alina can summon a force capable of destroying the Shadow Fold and reuniting their war-ravaged country, but only if she can master her untamed gift. As the threat to the kingdom mounts, Alina unlocks the secrets of her past. She will make a dangerous discovery that could threaten all she loves and the very future of a nation. So, most of this so far has been in the first-person perspective of Alina, but except for the first chapter, which is the prologue of it. It's before. And it's just basically introducing you to Alina and her best friend she's grown up with. So, she's an orphan, along with a best friend. The boy and a girl, they arrived together from a town. And someone named Anakuya, the Duke's housekeeper, because they live at the Duke's house, a Duke who is never there, who was allowing them to be raised there. She taught them a lot of stuff. And then these Grisha examiners come along to examine her to see if they have powers. Which, of course, what they're supposed to do, Duke Kiramsov is a celebrated war hero and a friend of the people, and he's the one who takes war widows and orphans into his home to help them out. Because they're from the front line, kids who lost their parents because of the war, people who lost their friends and everything. And you have Alina Starkov and Malyen or Oretsev, who are the ones that are being tested in this beginning. Of course, the test means that if one of them is a Grisha, they go get trained to be a Grisha, and then the other one has to just join the army, the military. They both fail for some reason, and then they're in the first army. So they're marching to what is called the Fold, which is a Shadow Fold, which is basically this big ass shadow thing that has monsters and stuff in it. As you can see, it's this big thing here called the Unsea, and it's actually blocking them from their ports and everything. And so they have, in the True Sea, so they have to cross this fold in order to get over there to hunt animals and stuff that they don't have to bring back to the rest of Ravka. And that's very important for their survival. They're trying to undo the Shadow Fold. So every Darkling after what they call him? I know they called him something. The Black Heretic, okay? So the Black Heretic, it was a Darkling who created the Shadow Fold for an experiment mistake. They don't really know why he did it. All they know is that every single Darkling since that has been trying to undo it. And the current Darkling is actually related to the Black Heretic. It was his great-great-great-grandfather. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 generations later. So he's been trying to do that, defeat the fold. The Shadow Fold is where many people die inside of it, and you have to cross it twice because it goes across all of Revka. There's no way around it. I guess. I mean, there might be a way around it, but I don't think they want to risk going as far as they would need to go to do it, which would be down to Shuhan, which is a different territory. So yeah, they would have to go into Shuhan territory to be able to get there. It's also in Fjerda, which is another territory. So it actually extends into there. But anyways, Alina and Mal have grown up together, but Mal has become this womanizer type deal guy who's like, yeah, we're together. You know, we're best friends. It's us against the world. You can tell that he's like a womanizer because he flirts with a girl named Ruby. He like, ooh, look at that Grisha that went by. I want to tap that. Mal is a tracker, and they're in Mal's unit, and he has a guy named Mikhail that's in it, and Dubrov in it, and they're like friends and everything, and friends with her as well, but she doesn't really have any girlfriends because they all want to be hitting up with Mal because Mal is this hottie that they want to be with. She's a map maker who's terrible at it, who has to draw pictures and things like that. And her junior assistant, Alexei, is with them. He actually gives her one of his sketches because she doesn't have one. And to help her out because you have to have 2 sketches by the end of the day. There's also Eva, who believes that Darklings are not natural, that none of them are. And like she's like, you know, that's just weird. Okay, so they go into the fold and they're attacked immediately by these weird ass monsters. Okay, so Alexa gets stolen, taken away. So bye, Alexa, you no longer exist, you dead. Mal gets injured protecting Alina, and he goes down. So Alina tries to cover him as another beast comes after them, and all of a sudden a bright burst of sunlight comes out and drives everything away, and she faints. When she wakes up, she's being brought to Colonel Revsky, who asks, what are you? And she's like, I'm a map maker assistant. I don't know what else you want from me. And so they bring her before the Darkling because they're like, she did something. They talk a lot of questions. Her master sits there and says, yeah, I don't know what she did. This bright light happened. And then they ask Mal, the tracker, what happened. He's like, I just know that Alina screamed and I couldn't see anything. The world was just shining. Because he's like, I don't know what to say for if she could do anything like that, I wouldn't know. And he's like, we all have our secrets, but she doesn't even fucking know. She's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. There must be a mistake. I didn't do anything. I don't know how he survived. I don't know where the light came from. Why are you asking me? And he's like, I think if I had a sun summoner living in my own country, I'd be aware of it. A sun summoner? Well, she can summon the sun? What? He's a Darkling who can summon shadows, and she's a summoner who can summon the sun? He actually forces and amplifies her abilities to make her summon bright light. So at first she stomps it down and fights it, and he's like, nothing there. And then he sits there and forces her to release the sun. And then he calls for a heartrender named Ivan to bring her to the little palace immediately. Because, you know, if anybody finds out they have a sun summoner, they'll want to kill her. So they rush her to the little palace. And on their journey there, she gets healed. She gets a coat, a red coat that's called a kafka. I think it is. Kefta. A kefta. Which is basically something that marks them for what they are. What kind of Grisha they are. Because you have the Corporal Alki, who are the Order of the Living and the Dead, are the Heartrenders and Healers. Healers heal and Heartrenders kill using the body. the Etherealki, who are Squallers, Infernies, and Tide Makers. Tide Makers can control water, Inferni can control fire, and Squallers, I believe, can control earth. Materialki are Duress and Alchemy. Fabrinikers, which can change shit. Like, she meets at the little palace a girl named Genya, and Genya can change your features. She made herself beautiful, but she changes some of Alina's features to make her look like she had sleep and that she didn't look like she was, terrible. But on her way there, she meets someone named Fedio. He's a corporalnik. God, it's such a weird ass saying to them. Okay, it's also a Netflix series, so if you really want to know how to pronounce that shit, watch the Netflix series. And on their way there, using the main road, they get attacked. She tries to run away. A man drops on her. It's Fjerdan, and she's trying to run, and he's trying to kill her. The Darkling shows up, and he kills her. Like, splits him in literally in two. And she's, like, freaking out about that. And he's like, we should have done this, where we, do a decoy and run the Southern trials. And she's like, I didn't think you did mistakes. And he's like, of course I make mistakes, just not often. So, yeah. She meets the king, who's, I don't know, weird. And, after Genya, who does stuff to her. She also meets a guy named Sergei Biznesky. I think he's what is he? Red Robes. So, I think Red Robes are healers. I don't really remember. Blue is for summoners. So, she walks out, and they're like trying to decide who she walks with to go meet the king. And there's a woman named Mary who goes, she's a summoner, so she should be with us. And he's like, you can't possibly tell us that you want her to enter the hall as the lowest on the lower order of Gracia. He's like, then she's like, need I remind you that the Darkling is a summoner? You're ranking yourself with the Darkling now? I was like, and he was like, can't that just go with Genya? And like, with a tailor? No, you can't. And then the Darkling goes, she walks with me. So, she meets the king, who's disappointed that she's not very beautiful. And he's extremely happy that he's got a summoner, a sun summoner. A priest says, oh yes, a miracle indeed. I don't know his name yet, but And the queen was like, charming. I'm so happy you joined us. You're not much of a looker, but you are now of a new status. We should send it to your home. And she's excited that she learns that the sun summoner is a orphan. That's terrible. So now she's part of court. Yay! She doesn't like it. Oh, by the way, you need to get her fitted for a kefta of her own. And he's like, the kefta will be black. That's what the Darkling says. She's like, I prefer to have the blue robes. He's like, why? I don't want to stand out. And he's like, I just don't want to be more conspicuous than what I already am. And he's like, as you wish. It'll be blue. She could have had a black one. Only Darklings have black ones. But I think she should have like a gold one because she's a sun summoner. She should have her own color. That sets her apart. Genya is considered the queen's pet because of what she can do. So she's not very considered a servanty. But then again, her robes are like gold and teal or something like that. So that shows that she's actually a servant. And that she's never gone home. Because once you're revealed to be a Grisha, you learn to train at the Grisha school. And you never return home to your parents. I just get money and shit for producing a Grisha. That's terrible. So she also sits with the summoners for practice. Because that's what you do. You sit with the people that you sit with. She also meets someone named Nadia, which is also a summoner. There's also a boy named Ivo who's a summoner. So Genya shows her around to where she needs to go. They meet David, who gives her some discs. I don't know what the discs are for yet. They haven't really said anything about that. But they talk about entering the service, how long it's been since you've seen them. And then she meets her trainer, Bagra. Who doesn't like people who are late? Excuse my coughing. My sinuses are acting up. So, yeah. She's a little more So, she sounds like a little hard-headed. But that's where I've gotten. 134 pages in. She's just met Bagra. And she's going to start learning how to train to be a Grisha, a summoner, a shadow summoner at that, a sun summoner at that. So, there's lovely that. Anyways, I'll see you in the next clip. I'll see you in the next clip. Because you'll see me. We're not going to talk. I'm just going to read. But then we'll be talking after that to give you an update of the amount that I have read. Okay, I have an update and a cat. Hi, cat. What you doing, cat? Can you go away for a minute? I'm trying to do an update. How I love you, but if you could shoo. Update, Shadow and Bone. So I'm up to chapter 17 now, out of 134, and let me tell you, some shit happened. Some shit happened. Okay. Bagra is very vicious in how she teaches, as well as a bunch of other people, and how she ever does stuff, and how they interact with her. And there's also Botkin, who teaches fighting. Yeah, I can't do nothing. It's a cat. Hi, I own a cat. If you couldn't tell, but it's a black thing that got in your way. Okay, so oh my god, I don't even know how to do this update. You guys saw me reading for a little bit. Okay, so the Darkling checks up on her, asking how everything seems to be, and she talks to him about it, everything. He notices a scar and asks where the scar came from. He thinks that things will be good. Also, that talks about the tracker that she was with, Mal. Mentions stuff about him and maybe asks, the tracker is an orphan too. Is he good? So she's like, oh yeah. They said that he can make rabbits out of rocks. So there you go, rabbits out of rocks. If you can find them, find all those rabbits in the rocks. He also said, you're the first glimmer of hope I've had in a long time. He says a lot of nice stuff. But Bagra is the one that does a lot of training with her. So isn't Botkin. Let's see. Yes, the apparat or the priest, finds her in the library and asks her, talks to her. And he's really weird. And one of them is the Lives of Saints. There was a time when all Grecian children were given this book when they came to school at the palace. So he thinks that she might become a saint because they're building statues and stuff to her, building to save her. She's wondering where Mal is. The fact that she's writing letters to Mal every single day and she's getting no letters back from him. She doesn't understand why he's not writing back to her, or if anything's happening. She doesn't know or understand. And I think, since I've read a bunch, none of her letters are going out because the Darkling doesn't want them to go out. Of course, wants to isolate her in a certain way, make her depend on him. And I'll explain why in a bit. So Zoya comes back, and she is like I think I'm better than everybody else, and I really am, because she's a powerful person. But, of course, Darkling doesn't look at her because he's not what she's looking for. Well, she's not what he's looking for. And she's actually very mean. She literally sits there and tells her, when she hugs them, she hugs her and says something. You stink of caramazine, which I guess is an insult. And then they go to train with Botkin, and he pairs Zoya up with her to help her out because she's not learning a lot. She's behind in all of her Grisha training. And she actually gets her butt whooped by Zoya, and then she trips Zoya, and then Zoya uses her powers and gets into a lot of trouble for using her powers during training, which they're not allowed to use. The Everett comes back while she's in the healing halls, healing, and he's talking about being a saint, how it's a blessing, a benediction. You'll become dangerous, you'll become more dangerous still. And she's really wigged out about it. Genya says he's creepy but harmless. Creepy but harmless. Also, Genya was someone that the king saw liking into to have sex with, which was, the way kings do shit, The Darkling tells Bagra to leave her be. Bagra says no. And then they're talking about a herd, a mythical stag called the Morozova's herd, where there's a stag which greatly amplifies someone's power. So, from what I can understand, is that the stag amplifies powers. She bonds with the amplifier, which would be a stag's antler or something like that. It would amplify her powers, but it would be the only amplifier she could use. Also, deeper in the book, you find out that if the Darkling kills the stag, he basically controls the amplifier, even if he doesn't bond to said amplifier. So if he gives the amplifier to Lena after killing the stag, she bonds with the amplifier, and he'll be the only one that can use the amplifier, but he's the one who can only control her because he can control the amplifier. Really confusing, but not good shit. Not good at all. Okay? Gregory says it doesn't exist. He thinks it does, and he says, trust me, I will find it. Okay? She finds out that Malin has been stationed at Chernast Outpost in northern Simmons for 6 weeks. See Bia for 6 weeks. And to write him a letter. But she's been writing a letter. And he hasn't been responding to said letter. So she doesn't understand it. So when she goes to Bagra, she's in a very foul mood. And Bagra gets on her nerves saying, what's wrong with you? Tell me what's wrong. Where are you going? What's waiting for you out there? And she says nothing, no one. And she finally remembers a memory that she had buried back when the Grisha examiners happened. Red Woman had watched her closely, her eyes narrow. List, and this power surged up in her, but she forced the power down and pushed it down. Mal was yelling, Alina, Alina, outside the room. And she started struggling, saying Mal. So she pushed her own powers down. But now that she understood what her powers was, and that the reason why she pushed it down was so she wouldn't be separated from Mal, which is no longer the case because she's definitely separated from Mal, she takes the power and releases it. And tells it, sorry, I left you alone in the dark now. I'm ready to use you now. Now we can work. So Backwards going to train her even harder on that shit. She's got powers now. She can do things. Then she finds out that she's going to have to sit there and show off what she can do at a party for the king. He says, my men think that the herd may have crossed into the fjord. I don't think you're useless. I'll try to give you what you... your son left it on the TV stand. There's that. Then he kisses her. He kisses her like motherfuck. He kisses her and she likes it and she enjoys it. And I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. Yeah. But it's not. Apparently it's not. And you'll find out if you keep watching. So they show off what she did at the thing. After she finds out that he put her in black kefta, with the sleeves and necklines delicately embroidered with gold and glittering tiny jets with a small golden charm, the sun in eclipse, the darkling symbol. Mine, basically, is what he's saying. This is mine, she's mine, you can't have. You know? Getting you hints. He has Alina for saying the Darkling has protected her. More than you know. Besides, he's as much a slave to the whims of the king as the rest of us. At least for now. So, there's something brewing between the Darkling and the king. Like maybe a rebellion. Maybe the Darkling's going to rebel against the king and take over. I'm not really sure exactly what the thing is. During the ballroom dancing and all that stuff, before she performs, she meets Duke Karamosov, who took her in. He doesn't remember her, but, that's okay. She doesn't really need that. And then she does her performance, which wows the crowd because she does a bunch of magic tricks with light. And then the Darkling pulls her into another room and kisses her again, saying, the problem with waiting is that it makes us weak. And he's like, can I come by your room tonight? And she doesn't answer him, but he still leaves. The apparat comes along and says, Alina, I must speak with you. Things are moving far too quickly. And she doesn't want to listen to him because she's scared of him. And so she goes into the ballroom, dances with will talks to a bunch of people, and then she slips out. And Mal comes out of the meeting room from where the Darkling is. He was reporting so he could see her. And it upsets him to see her in the black Kafka. With his symbols all over him. And he's like, they're mad at each other. It's like, I should go, he says, she's I'm sorry I didn't waste I'm sorry I'm wasting your time. He's like, I didn't say that. No, I understand. You can't be bothered to answer my letters. Why would you want to stand here talking to me with your real friends waiting? I said, I didn't get any letters. Right. We have to move constantly to track to her. My unit is barely in contact with the regiment anymore. You didn't get any of my letters? Mal, can you stay along? Can't you imagine what it's been like here? And he's like, I saw your illusions. It was impressive. He thought she was being tortured. Abused. And she wasn't. But you don't gain something from somebody that you want by abusing them. You give them everything they want and make them indebted to you. So he leaves. He's all over you. I think Mal is jealous. I think Mal is actually in love with her, and I hope so. I hope Mal is in love with her. I really hope Mal is in love with her because she's still in love with Mal. And I hope she stays in love now. And then Bagger comes bursting into her room, saying we have to leave now because he found the stag. He needs to go. And then she's what she explains. The Darkling wants to push the boundaries of the unsea into the north of Fjord in the south of Sun. So those who do not bow to him will see their kingdoms turn to desolate wasteland, people devoured by the raving Volcra. Now the Volcra were in the unsea, and it turns out that they were actually people that were there when the unsea was first made. And then you find out that he is a black heretic, that he is not the great-great-great-great-grandson of the freaking black heretic. He is a black heretic, and he created it in his ambition for something or another. What it is, we don't know. I guess it's controlling the kingdom, controlling Ravka is what he wants. And Bagra is his mother. Oh my fucking God. The things you learn. By the way, I'm enjoying this book, so I will be definitely getting the second one, The Siege and Storm. I'll definitely get it. I like the creature first. I like the uniqueness of it, and I like the way she storytells. Though, going from the Six of Crows, which is like the Six Crows, and you have their own thoughts and feelings and stuff like that, but it's all in third person, to a one-person thing, off, I guess, throws me a little bit for her writing, but I think her writing in the first person was much better than the Six of Crows, and I think maybe if she had done less of the switcheroos in the Six of Crows and done it first person, it might have been better. Not sure. Don't quote me on that. Okay. Alright. So, when she hears all that stuff, if Rekka may hold, the second army will no longer be vital to its survival. The Darkling will be nothing but another servant to the king. So, but what's he doing good, or what's he doing bad? Fuck if I know. We all serve someone. The king is a child. You and I are going to change the world. I'm asking you to trust me. The problem with waiting. Yep, you and I are going to change the world. Just wait. So she's like, did you really think I was the one with you? So she uses all these things, and she's like, okay, he wants to use me. He wants me to take me away. The only thing that had ever really belonged to me. The only power I've ever had. So she's like, what do I gotta do? So Bagra helps her escape the palace. Has a ship port for Kirsch that she can go on, but she's got to get through the unsea in order to do that, to run away from Osa. And guess who tracked her the fuck down as she was trying to run away? Mal. Mal saves her from some stupid fucking serpent thing and some dudes who are trying to, get funky with her. And he's like, okay, explain to me why you left. And she's like, Mal. Oh, actually, she goes, Mal, did you find the herd? Did you capture Morzafal's sage? Why is it so important? It's a long story. I need to know. Does he have the sage? No. They're close though. But what? I don't think they'll find it without me. Because you're just that good? No. Maybe. Don't get me wrong. They're good trackers. The best in the first army. But you have to have a feel for tracking the herd. They aren't ordinary animals. And she thinks, and you're no ordinary tracker. I hope you're right. Why did you run? He asks. If I told you that I'm trying to save the world, would you believe me? So this isn't some kind of lover's quarrel? She goes, no. I wish it was something like that, but no. He's like, get some rest. I'll take the first watch. And she's like, thank you for finding me. Always. Always! What the fuck? Is he actually in love with her? And he was just chasing other people because he didn't think she was in love with him. I wish we had Mal's side. I wish we knew what Mal was thinking. Like, Malian, do you love her? I need to know. I need to know. Oh, and yes, I actually did read, and I think it's a good place that I did read it. I did read Mal's letter, found near Ravka's northern border, Mal's letter, about how he wanted to write to her, and how he was trying to figure out how to get right to her, and how no letters had gotten to him, and he's like, if you'd been safe, he would have definitely wrote me letters. How his team had been assigned to track the herd, how he actually volunteered to go into Ford's frozen area to continue tracking the herd in the enemy's uniforms, and that his two buddies volunteered. He actually wants to go back to her because he's like, what is she to you anyway, says the captain. Here's my answer, Captain. She's the thing that made this all okay. The threadbare coats and the old boots and the guns that jam when you most need them to fire. The loneliness of knowing that you don't matter, that you will never matter. The fact that you're just another body, another uniform to be sent into the fold of the frost. Another good boy who knows his place. Who does his job, who doesn't ask questions. Who will lie down and die and be forgotten. What is she? She's everything, you dumb son of a bitch. My fucking god, and I need to actually sit there and capitalize that, because that is like chef's kiss on romance. She's everything to him. So yeah, I enjoyed reading the letter. Months of requests, informal requests, tried talking to people. He tried everything, and now he's gonna go get this stupid thing because he thinks it's for her, and he thinks that the reason why he wrote this letter because he doesn't know why. That I'll promise I'll survive tomorrow and the day after that, and somehow no matter what it takes, I'll see you safe again. And he does see her safe, and I'm glad I have this one because it's bonus material. And I do have Netflix, so maybe after I'm done reading all three of them, Season Stone and Ruin Rising, I'll go watch this to see if it's any good. I guess I'll see you in the next clip, guys. I have finished Shadow and Bone by Lee Dugo. Let me get a better view of that, please, and thank you. So, yay, I have finished. So they fleed. Oh, she fled, and Mal found her, and they're together again, and they're fleeing to go get the stag, because the stag, Mal thinks, is going to help her out still, in some way, shape, or form. And, she dreams about the stag every night, and she's wondering about the stag and why it's showing her things. And then they finally meet the stag, okay? They finally get to the stag. They finally find the stag. They finally find it, right? Okay, so they find the stag, and it walks up to her, and she walks up to it, and they look at each other, and Mal's like, kill it, because we need the antlers. And she's like, no, we'll find another way. I'm not going to kill this majestic beast. And then a voice says, you should have listened to him, Alina. And the Darkling's there. The Darkling and his group are there. So they fell the beast, and the Darkling kills the beast, and they take his antlers. And David's there. David puts the two antlers together and forms a unbroken collar around her. So now she's got this collar. And an invisible hand is forcing her to do everything. So this invisible hand makes her light up, and she can't stop it. So they say, put the traitor away, we're going. So they go to the Shadowfold. Alpera is ruling in the king's place. The queen is in confinement. The king is supposedly ill. And she's being forced to follow, hoping that Mal isn't dead, that they haven't killed Mal. They get to the Shadowfold before they enter it. They have one night where they're waiting to gather up all the people that they need. And he tells her, you can go see him one last time, because I'm going to kill him. He's like, I'm not, that's the mercy I'm going to show a deserter, a traitor. She said, well, before that, she said, keep him alive, I'll serve you gladly. You kill him, I'll fight you to the nail for the rest of my life. And he's like, eternity's a long time. I can wait out your anger. So, she goes, spend the night talking to him, cherishing each other, and, basically saying their goodbyes, because, she can't control her power, and he's powerless. He's just a tracker, right? He admits that he loves her, and that he did not see her, notice her the way that he felt she deserved, because she was always there. But when she was gone, it was something else. Every time he turned around, he wanted to talk to her, tell her things, and he realized that he loved her and wanted her. Well, they go into the Shadowfold the next day, and he uses his powers and hers. So he uses power to expand the fold, and he uses her powers to fight off the Volcra to make sure that they don't get him. And so he destroyed some aggressive vodka. Oh my fucking god. Right, so he expands it further. And the Fern and the Shuhan are all upset about it. And he's like, well, it's my world now. No more war, no more peace, no more several different countries. It's all one country, and I'm the ruler of it. I'm busy. And everybody has to bow down to him. And then he's like, well, we're leaving. But we're leaving Mal here, the prisoner. And, well, as the darkness leaves Mal, and Mal's screams rent the air as the Volca go after him and tear into him, she snaps because she realizes the stag was showing her power. That he, the Darkling, did not control her at all. She controlled her own power. And the stag, who was given mercy by her because she didn't kill the stag, she didn't attack the stag, she was going to let the stag live, gave her the power to control herself. So she snapped the invisible hand that was controlling her and lit up, and she fought the Darkling with her powers and ran to Mal and used the powers in a way that was, you know, she used the powers with the cut, she used the powers with all kinds of things, and she left them in the dark and her in the light. And so she and Mal escaped to the other side. And then they finally bought passage to leave. And in the end, it's just a guy and a girl, they don't say their names, heading to a new world. They're together. So, that's it. I'm going to buy the new book, Season Storm, and hopefully be able to read that soon-ish. I mean, it's taken me a while to be able to read Crooked Kingdom and that. Next month for reading. So, my favorite character in this, well, I would say Mal. Because yes, in the beginning, he doesn't realize what he has, but then he realizes what he has and he wants to do everything he can for her. He deserves for her. Everything's for her. In the end, everything's for her. Nothing's for him. Here's a Darkling because he's an asshole. He wants to just rule the world, and he wants to be the one in control and put everybody in the dark sea. Unsea. What's that memorable? Mal and Alina do everything they do for each other without realizing it at first. And then when they do realize it, it's with regret because, you know, they didn't realize that they loved each other. Well, Alina loved Mal, but Mal didn't realize he loved her. And it's really weird. My favorite passage for the story is actually something that just happened towards the end. Right here. So, the reason why it's my favorite passage is that he's like, you can't leave, the Darkling's like, you can't leave us all here to die, Alina, basically he says. Is this your idea of mercy? And another bullet hit the sand, only inches from us. Yes, I thought, as the power was up inside me. The mercy you taught me. Because he was going to leave Mal to die. And he killed off a lot of people in, what is it called? Mixkit? Novokirsk, which is on the other side of the MC because he expanded the MC. So that's actually my favorite passage. And then my second favorite passage would be the orphans again, with no true home but each other, and whatever life they can make together on the other side of the sea. My favorite quote is, I love you, Alina, even the part of you that loved him. And the only reason she loved the Darkling was because he showed her attention and she didn't have mouth. What is that about the end of the book? I like the before and after, you know, the prologue and the epilogue. I liked how they did that. Boy and a girl, ghost. Boy and a girl, ghost. Basically, their whole life was defined by something else in the middle. But in the end, they're just two orphans that love each other. What book did it remind me of? The Six of Crows, slightly, a little bit, because of the Grishaverse, because that's what it is. This book is part of a series called Shadow and Bone. It's 3 long, and it's part of the Grisha universe, which has the Six of Crows in it, and I think the King of Scars in it. I'm unsure. If I rate this, I want to say I'll rate it a 4, because it was really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. But you don't need to stop torturing characters. Yeah, that's what I rated it as. So, if you guys think this was a like, comment, and a lovely subscription, would you go ahead and drop it down below. I will see you next illusion.